Hey everyone. So before we get started with week two, there are a few things just about the course and how things are flowing that I want to clarify. The most important thing is with regard to the flow through Canvas. It's set up such that you watch a lecture, then you do a quiz, then you watch a lecture, then you do an assignment. It's really important that you do it in that order. I think that there are people that are going to have a tendency to be like, oh, I'm just going to go through and watch all the lectures and I'll do the quizzes tomorrow or something like that. That's a really bad way to do it. Organic chemistry and a lot of the sciences are all about teaching you something and then building on it, and then building on that, and then building on that. So if you don't get that foundation rock solid, it's going to be really hard to put anything on top of it. The whole sort of flow is to give you this piece of information and then test you on it to make sure that you understand it. If you don't do well on that quiz, that sort of points you to something in the book or something like that that you should dig into a little bit more. Okay, rewatch the video, etc. So that's just the basic flow. The other thing is, I hope that you guys have noticed that part of the way it's designed is such that I'm in constant contact with you, and you guys are encouraged to be in contact with one another. Okay, that's definitely part of the design of the course. To the extent that I know there are some people that would like to have it be super hands off, but I know for a fact that I have much better of a chance of getting a larger amount of you across the finish line successfully if we're in this constant contact. So that's going to be my goal. Um, One of the ways that I'm going to do that is with these group discussions. And so a lot of people have been like, well, I don't know who my group is. The way that the system works is that you will only have access to your group discussion. As soon as you make a post, the only people that are going to see it are the other people in your group. So just by interacting with that discussion board, sorry, you'll, somebody's home. You'll be participating in your group activity. And then people are always worried about what if my group members don't pull their weight. If you're the only one participating in that group discussion board, you're the only one that's going to get credit for that group discussion. I mean, it's pretty easy to see everybody's individual contribution. That's one of the nice things of having this online system. Then once you post it to the final submission board, that's when it becomes visible to the rest of the class. Okay, so that's how that all works. So hopefully everybody's, there have been a few people that have, but not no sort of lively group, whatever. I'm sure that that'll happen in the upcoming days, but just FYI. The other thing to point out, right, is there are 3 tools that I'm utilizing to sort of interact and get you guys to work with this stuff: quizzes, assignments, and discussions. So just to sort of lay out explicitly what they're doing for us in this course, quizzes are sort of the most straightforward. They grade themselves. You can expect for them to get a little bit more difficult just in terms of, I'm not going to have it be an ACD problem where you click A, submit, that doesn't work out for you, click B, submit, click C, submit, etc. So they're going to be a little bit harder to pinpoint why you might have only gotten partial credit. The whole point of the quiz is not to give you a point for being there. It's to make sure that you actually understand the material. So if there is something you're getting wrong, you want to go back and relook at that, or engage. You can also engage in the discussion, the weekly question discussion as well, if you have some confusion. Anything big, of course, or even not so big that you don't think is appropriate there, you can always come to me via email. So those are the quizzes, kind of the straightforward self-graded thing. The discussions are meant for when I have you submit a question through a discussion forum. It's meant for you to be able to check your own work against your peers, right? You'll be able to see what everybody else posts after you post, and then you can see, well, how does my work compare to my peers? So it's sort of like a self-check thing. So make sure after you do a submission that you're going in and looking and correcting it if it needs to be. And then lastly is the assignments, where you submit something and it only goes to me. That is where I will interact with you about stuff that's wrong. So I'm going to have you do something, and then it'll be my opportunity to critique, you did this right, this wrong, all that good stuff, right? So that's sort of just the structure of all that, okay? So if you actually did sit through this whole video and listen to this piece of advice, that's great. I want you to send me an email just saying yep, got it, and I'll give you an extra credit point, because I think it's really important to watch these introductory emails, because even though they might not have the same lecture content, they're how I'm going to convey important stuff to you through class. So yes, all right, good luck this week.